For as long as I could remember, my life had been simple. I was a woodcutter, living in a small, forgotten village surrounded by endless forests. My days were quiet. The creak of the axe splitting wood, the chirping of birds overhead, and the occasional crackle of my fire at night. I never needed more. But that all changed the day she arrived. It was early morning when I first saw her. Mist hung low in the woods, and the first golden rays of sunlight painted the clearing where I worked. I turned to grab my axe, and there she was, standing at the tree line, watching me. She looked human, or almost human, tall and elegant. Her long silver hair shimmered like the mist itself. Her skin faintly glowed, and her eyes, an unnatural violet, seemed to see through me, like twin stars peering into my soul. "Are you lost?" I called out. Her voice echoed like a song. "No, Karel. I have found you." I froze. No one had called me Karel before. My name was Karl, or at least that's what everyone in the village knew me as. "You mistake me for someone else," I said, gripping my axe. "I don't know you." She stepped closer, her eyes sad yet determined. "You do not remember, but I know who you are. You are Karel Orionis, my husband." I blinked, certain I'd misheard her. "Husband?" "Lady, I'm a woodcutter. I've never seen you before in my life." "You were a woodcutter," she corrected softly, "because you chose to forget. But the truth cannot stay hidden forever. I am Lyrana, your life bond from Andronis, and the galaxy has need of you once more." "Andronis? Life bond? Galaxy?" The words meant nothing to me, but her tone was so certain, so final, that I couldn't bring myself to mock her. I should have turned away. I should have ignored her. But something stirred in my chest. "Prove it," I said. Her lips curled faintly into a smile. She raised her hand, and suddenly the world around me fractured like glass. The clearing shimmered, and a pulse of energy swept over me. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in the forest. I stood in a massive hall of crystal and light, the walls reflecting star fields and twin suns. I stumbled backward, heart racing, as images swirled through the air. Warriors in gleaming armor, starships cutting through darkened skies, and there, at the center, me. My face, younger but unmistakable, alongside hers. Memories I didn't recognize burned behind my eyes. Alien landscapes, battles fought, a promise made beneath the glow of two suns. This isn't possible," I stammered. Lyrana stepped closer. "You chose to erase it all, Karel. After the war, you sought peace and simplicity, hiding here as a woodcutter. I honored that choice, but now I must break it. The Zerathians have returned. They've taken Andronis and will not stop until Earth falls, too. You are the only one who can stop them." I gripped my chest, breathing heavily. The visions were overwhelming, but they felt real. "I don't know how to fight wars," I said hoarsely. "I don't know how to save planets. I'm no warrior." "You are," she whispered, "and you always have been." Over the following days, Lyrana worked to restore what had been locked away. She trained me, forcing me to remember the skills and instincts buried beneath my woodcutter's calluses. Slowly, I realized the truth. I was Karel Orionis, once a leader of the Andronian vanguard, the greatest resistance force the galaxy had known. I had fought against the Zerathians, a race of warlords who consumed entire systems, leaving nothing but ruins in their wake. When we first defeated them, I had begged for release. I had no interest in glory or power, only peace. Lyrana had used Andronian technology to give me what I wanted: a simple life, a new identity, a chance to forget. But the galaxy could no longer afford my ignorance. It wasn't long before the Zerathians came. Their ships descended like black arrows over Earth's skies, demanding surrender. The nations of the world were unprepared, panicking as their weapons failed against shields powered by alien technologies. But I knew how to fight them. In secret, I rallied a resistance. Lyrana summoned allies from the stars, fierce rebels and old comrades who had heard that Karel Orionis had returned. For weeks, we fought in the shadows, striking against the Zerathians where they least expected it. My body remembered movements I'd forgotten. My mind sharpened, strategy and tactics flowing like second nature. I was no longer just a woodcutter. I was Karel. Finally, the Zerathian flagship descended to Earth, a monstrous vessel that blotted out the sun. It was a trap, and I knew it. Lyrana and I led the charge. Through enemy lines, across alien halls of steel and fire, until we reached the heart of the ship. There, we faced the Zerathian warlord, a creature of darkness and molten rage. "You cannot stop us," it hissed. "You are nothing but a forgotten man." I gripped my blade, a sword of Andronian light, and stepped forward. I was a forgotten man, but not anymore. The battle was brutal. My body burned, my muscles ached, but Lyrana fought beside me. Together, we drove the warlord back until I struck the final blow. The Zerathian fleet faltered, their forces scattered. Earth was saved, and the galaxy for now was safe. When the dust settled, Earth's leaders offered me power, titles, and fame. I turned them all down. I returned to the forest, where my axe still lay buried in a stump. Lyrana found me there, watching the sun set over the trees. "You do not have to stay here," she said softly. "The stars await us." I smiled faintly, looking at her, my life bond. "A part of me will always belong to this place." "But you're right. I am not just a woodcutter anymore." She extended her hand. "Come, Karel Orionis. Our home is among the stars." I took her hand, and together we walked toward the waiting ship, its engines humming softly. The forest disappeared behind me, but I carried it in my heart, a reminder of who I had been. And as the stars opened before us, I knew that my true story had only just begun.